Professor David Boji, and I want to talk to you about the kinds of satire that can help in modern day slavery. So thank you for tuning in. Well, let's hear what John Oliver has to say about modern day slavery, and he is an expert in satire.
Our main story tonight concerns farming. Farms are where we get our food, our metaphors about fascism, and they are even the subject of surprisingly popular video games like this.
I played Farming Simulator.
Okay, you just saw John Oliver give an example of direct satire and another example of indirect satire. Do you know which was which? Presentation, we're interested in three types of satire. Horatian is gentle, sympathetic kind of satire, fun and joking. Juvenalian is harsher, full of contempt and condemnation. Manipulian is the kind of satire that Mikhail Bakhtin is very interested in. And it's a very ancient form of satire, and it's the focus of our presentation today.
During the pandemic, and yet, while we claim they're essential, we sure don't treat them like it. Farm workers are among our lowest paid workers, making on average in the range of $20,000 to $25,000 a year, and they're often subjected to dangerous environments.
So as I was saying, manipulating satire has a lot of extensive details. Now, a good example of it is Gulliver's Travels, and Bakhtin's book, Dostoevsky's Poetics, gives a lot of examples of manipulating satire. Just about novels, because a lot of our movies have manipulating satire. Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator, Wag the Dog, Dr. Strangelove, Catch-22, the whole series on MASH, In the Loop. These are amazing examples.
And I could not see to where the truck was that contained the water, and I was looking for my mom and I couldn't find my mom. Eventually I just fell. You don't really think about a childhood. Like, I've never really thought that a child is really supposed to, at 12-year-olds, is supposed to have fun, exactly. I always thought that you were supposed to work.
That is terrible. Although, while a 12-year-old under no circumstances should be fainting in a field,
let's look at another clip.
For bad actors to operate in. Back in 1986, we created what's known as the H-2A visa program. It allows migrant workers to legally enter the country temporarily for agricultural work. For years, employers shied away from using it because it was cheaper and easier to simply hire undocumented workers. But as it's become harder to find, to this sale of human beings. So you're hopefully wondering, how do we fix this? Well, farm workers have been organising to address some of these issues for years now. Take what happened in Immokalee, Florida. As recently as a decade ago, the tomato fields there were being called ground zero for modern-day slavery. But a group called the Coalition of Immokalee Workers launched a campaign to improve conditions, pressuring not just farmers, but the big-name businesses that relied on their produce.
In 2005, Taco Bell became the first big buyer to sign on to the CIW's Fair Food program. Buyers agree to pay an extra penny per pound for tomato, money that goes to workers. And buyers only do business with participating Florida farmers. More than a dozen restaurants...
More than I can say for Wendy's, Kroger and Publix, who amazingly have yet to sign on, so fuck them. Fuck them! Exactly.
Hey, a little bit more about Menippean satire. It has its roots in carnivalist folklore, and it's back to the 3rd century BC, right? We can trace its roots. It's one of the pupils of Socrates, Socratic dialogue. And Athenian was using Menippean satires and writing them, actually, performing them. I want to give you some of the examples that Mikhail Bakhtin in the book Dostoevsky's Poetics. First of all, it's a genre that has comic in it. That's why I'm appreciative of using John Oliver's excerpts here today. I hope he doesn't mind. Secondly, it's not just a history. It's not an exact history or memoirs of experiences. There's extraordinary freedom with the plot. And in the case of the CIW, they put on actual skits that I think are Menippean satire. On the left side of the stage, one skit that I observed in Ohio, CIW puts all of the problems of the field. No water to drink, or at least no breaks to get the water, no shade, no breaks to get in the shade, being beaten, raped, pillaged, etc. On the right side of the stage, they put, this is what it's like with a fair food program with worker-driven social responsibility in corporations holding growers accountable for not having modern-day slavery. Now, there's a bridge between the left side and the right side of the stage, and you can see part of it in the picture here. And somebody picks up Wendy's, an actor playing Wendy's, the daughter of Dave Thomas, and carries her across the stage. Now, this is an amazing idea and gets to the third point of Menippean satire. It's fantastic. It's an embodiment of truth by provoking it in fantasy, in the fantastic. We'll get to more examples of that. But even in Bakhtin, they talk about slaves in the workplace, the motif of modern adventure and with the fantastic elements, the testing of ideas. This is a theater by CIW that tests ideas. Number 4, the Menippean satire organizes a combination within the fantastic, the symbolism, Wendy's, daughter of Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's. And it has what Bakhtin, page 115, calls slum naturalism. In other words, it's the worst part of the marketplace. And that's what we're focusing on here in this presentation. Number 5, Menippean satire asks the ultimate questions. Is slavery a right? Is rape and pillage and wage theft right? Not having breaks for water in the field, getting beaten if you ask for water. Number 6, dialogic synchrisis. Synchrisis means it's transformed from like the earth to the heavens of fair food program, solving the problems. And it goes back to the plays of the Middle Ages. Let us not forget that, how ancient this kind of theater is. Now, I'm not saying CIW on purpose is doing Menippean dialogue. I'm just saying the roots go deep, and you can find traces of it. Number 7, it's experimental observations using the fantastical, the point of view, the height of life, life on the farm field as it could be. It's Rabelisian, larger in life. And I'll get down in the screen here. Sorry about that. So there's a moral, psychological experimentation, number 8. The hero raider, Nelson Peltz, we can experiment with that and compare him to the hero of Wendy's founder, Dave Thomas, and the kind of morals he had with regard to workers, with regard to the square deal. And now we see the rhetoric of the square deal and the square burger and the square this and that used by Nelson Peltz, the chairman of the board of Wendy's, who controls Wendy's. Number 9, Menippean scandal scenes are throughout. I did a video just recently showing a kind of a Me Too situation. I'll put a link to it. And it was amazing to watch this. And let me get out of the way of the camera here. Let's see. I think that'll work. Okay. So number 10, Menippean satire has sharp contrasts. Little Wendy's, the girl. What if we had a play where she's sold into modern-day slavery? And the devil, Nelson Peltz, whispers in her ears how she should work hard in the fields and not take water breaks. Number 11, Menippean includes kind of the social utopia. And in the case of Wendy's, in Publix and Kroger supermarket, the CIW wants to have a fair food program where there's worker-driven social responsibility. Number 12, Menippean satire uses, right, letters to shareholders, letters from the CEO, films of Nelson Peltz. I put these in my videos. The kind of Wall Street reporting that goes on. And this brings us into number 13. These are multi-styled and multi-toned genres brought together in Menippean satire. Number 14, finally, and these are the lists from Bakhtin I'm focused on, you have the journalistic genre. So just look at all the Wall Street barons, the kind of reporters of what's happening in the financial world. And they don't really care about modern day slavery. They report what a hero Nelson Peltz is. So we need a kind of Menippean satire to bring that kind of journalistic reporting with reporting from The Guardian, with reporting from the CIW's own websites. So I hope that gives you some of the ideas here about this kind of dialogue. And we've compared it with Horatian, which is much milder critique, and then Junglian, which made the audience angry, and there's examples like Fight Club, it's much more in your face. In fact, it was so in your face that a lot of audiences to Fight Club didn't even notice it was satire. They thought it was real and they were upset. The Menippean satire, 300 to 260 BC, it sort of got its legs, right, is a whole multiplicity of genres brought together with the fantastic. And it's got some humor, it's got a lot of irony in it, and it's not attacking the person per se, although there's some of that for sure. It's the idea system of modern day slavery, in my example, that's being attacked. And so I hope you've had a wonderful time with the video. Give us a subscribe, give us a like, and thank you very much.